I told her how I've always stayed, always waited for nothing.
I just like to play music with people because something happens, you know, when you got 4 or 5 people in the same room and you start to, you know, play off each other. And mostly it's done on stage, but it doesn't matter to me if it's just somewhere in a rehearsal room.
As I listen to them, it kind of sounds like we're developing. You know, something has happened. We're going somewhere. You listen to the album in the middle, it's like it's new. You know, it's going somewhere while it still remains open. I think this album is taking us somewhere, but I don't really know where. I feel it's one of our most important albums for many reasons.
The biggest difference is the endless touring, I think, maybe. But it's also different in how everybody sees music, I think, because a band can be very image based.
I think I've developed a lot of my acoustic playing since I joined Opeth, which is about 8 months ago now, and yeah, it really develops my playing, I think, the rhythm playing wise, and the way Michael combines chords and also his finger playing. I had to work a lot on my acoustic.
When I'm on stage is when I feel like I'm doing this for real. I don't know, it's like every movement I do, everything is not fake. It's like, it's the feel I get. And with the people you get some kind of power, I don't know how to describe it. That making it, I don't know, it's really special. It's like being high, whatever, I don't know how to describe it, but it's really nice.
Any band's 9th record usually kind of, you know, and I'm sure a lot of people think that's the way with us too, but I don't think so. I think we're still, it's not the sound of a tired old man's fucking band, you know, it sounds fresh. I think we sound, you know, hotter than hell.
Axe wasn't, you know, like a friend of the band before he started to play. Everyone knew that Axe is a brilliant drummer, which he is, but he just sort of jumped into the tour bus, and without Axe maybe that wouldn't have been any Opeth today, because he sort of more or less saved the band, you know. Because it's pretty hard to play shows without a drummer.
When I was 9, I think I got my first like real drum kit, but I got my first snare drum when I was maybe 6, maybe, or something, and I started drum lessons when I was 9, something like that, 9 or 10 maybe, and then I practiced in a school till I was 17, 18 maybe.
Axe obviously is a very, very complex person, I think. You know, he's one of the funniest guys I know, and I don't think he knows that he's funny. I think his split personality thing is one thing that we've been joking about, but I think it is actually kind of true. He has a split personality if he has a few drinks. He can be a bit confused sometimes on a personal, like, not when he's playing drums. He's not confused. He's very focused.
Axe, another great guy, and confused.
Yeah, my cell phone is always a different story. I think I don't know what it is. Maybe it's a spell that. But now my cell phone was stolen by a pocket thief, and I couldn't run and catch him. So now I have to use my girlfriend's very nice phone. It's a pink one.
Axe is a very, very funny guy and a mind-blowing drummer, and he's also a very reliable person as everybody else in the band, and he has a that's wrong.
I think at first it was only I was hired for the band because Lopez was sick, and I think everybody thought that he was going to get well and get back on the drum chair, but as it turned out, he didn't get better. So
It was actually Patrick Jensen from The Haunted, who came up to me and said that we should try Axe out, because he's playing with Axe in a band called Witchery, and he said that he's a marvelous drummer, a lovely guy, you would love him. I called him up from the US, and he said, "Can I call you back? There is a fire in my apartment." He'd forgotten a bunch of candles, and there was his kind of bookshelf was on fire or something. But we started talking, and after a while we kind of had we didn't really have an audition for him, you know. I I said, can you listen to a few songs like Deliverance and that kind of stuff? And then we had a rehearsal, and he could play Deliverance from the first note until the last without stopping, pretty much perfectly.
I remember one time when I was playing a festival show in Sweden with Witchery, and Opeth was headlining that show, and I can't remember the exact year, but maybe 2001 or 2002 or something. And I thought that the live show was very good, and it was so much stronger live because of the mellow stuff and hard stuff, and I was very nervous at that first show in Hungary because it was my first show, but it was because we had rehearsed like we only had songs I only knew songs for 40 minutes, and when we got there, they said we had to play for 1.5 hours. So I was like, what? I don't know any other songs. So Michael said just like, yeah, but we could do a jam in the middle of the jam. What are you talking about? It's 20,000 people out there just gonna play different tunes and hope it's gonna sound good. But it turned out good.
Is just he's a genius. I think he's got something in here. He's like a part of his brain he's using on a musical level that is something I can't explain. But he's just he hears a song and he knows it, and he's a very exact player.
Our drummer Axe, he's from another planet actually, and I'm not told which one yet, but I'm gonna find out during the next tours.
But I don't know why they did disappear. One time I woke up in a bathtub in Florida, and my phone was on the bottom of the bathtub, and I can't remember if I talked while I was in the bathtub. I guess I had too much to drink the night before, maybe.
But he's got a very big heart. I love him. He's just. I never met anyone like him. He's a very, very, very special guy. I can't really explain. I think you have to meet him to understand what it's like. There's a song on the new album that has a blast beat, because I know that Axe he can do that in his sleep, perfectly. And I think the heavier parts are slightly more faster and heavier because I knew about Axe's past playing that kind of stuff,
In metal music, it's more or less about you play the song and because there's not generally speaking in metal, it's not a lot of improvising, so you have to play it with a lot of authority when you play metal, because you don't have a lot of time to sort of feel the ground. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, boom, and you're supposed to be there, and if you're not, you suck.
It's difficult. I think it changes, but I think there's a track on there called The Lotus Eater, which I really like. It's just very odd. It's perfectly represents where my musical kind of head is at for the moment. It's fucked up. But I think it's interesting, very interesting, and it's not very commercial sounding or anything, it's doesn't have that many hooks, I think, but it's just, I think, a very interesting song, and I think it represents Opeth what we do in 2008.
To be able to make a living out of this, it's amazing actually. To be in a band that makes a living out of playing metal, you know, in one form or the other, it's pretty fantastic. And there's all cool stuff that you get to do. We did a BBC recording, which is I like a lot to do because I enjoy playing live, and it's also really cool because when I was like in my early teens, me and a friend, we always tried to listen to the BBC radio because that was the only way to get to know about all the modern hard rock, heavy rock. In the early 80s, we didn't have like a TV show or any good radio shows in Sweden that played heavy metal or heavy rock. So we bought like an antenna and sort of tried to listen to the Friday rock show on BBC. That was a cool thing to do.
Very old person. No, he's a very talented musician. He's a great keyboard player, piano player, and guitar player, and singer, and songwriter, and everything. So it's how to say, it's an honor to play with him, I think.
A good keyboard player, in my opinion, is the same as a good musician, and I don't think there's any difference to a good guitar player or a good keyboard player or anything. Like, I think a good musician, he knows what he's not supposed to play.
You can get really fired up, especially when we're talking about music, and we're arguing, usually about the Scorpions, fighting about the Scorpions. I love them, and he don't like Klaus. And I was saying Klaus is a great singer. He's just, if he had a few drinks, he can just like. But as a musician, he's you know, like he's. I don't know that many other keyboard players, but he's unmatched. You know, as far as I'm concerned, he's the only keyboard player I know in the metal world that plays with his heart. And also he's a workhorse in many ways, and you can always count on him, you know, for kind of rough things like carry stuff.
What I've improved during my time in Opeth is the ability to sing harmony vocals, definitely. It's a lot easier to scream or shout, you know, than to than to sing mellow, nice harmony vocals. You know, I think that's what I've improved a lot on. I've always had, I've always felt, you know, not that comfortable doing, you know, the pretty vocal style. I had to learn it to be able to play in this band.
Played bass for 15 years, I think, something like that, 15, 16 years. And I start because my father, he was a bass player and he had a bass at home that he didn't play anymore. But I decided, I always liked music and I decided to try it because it was there and I really like it. So after that I've been playing bass since then.
Great bass player, I think, and a really good friend of mine, and a very reliable person with a good heart.
That was in Uruguay. A friend of mine ordered the Orchid one, the Orchid album to Uruguay. It was really rare over there. And I went to his home, I listened to the band, and I remember I was thinking like, it was really, really different music. I was like, wow, this is something else. But I didn't get into the band until I moved to Sweden, which was when they released the Monorace one. Then I get really into the band. I really like it. But I remember the first impression was like, wow, really interesting.
Fantastic bass player, obviously. But you know, he's secure. That's one of the things I really like about him. Very honest and totally devoid of any kind of pretension. You know, I'm a fucking pretentious asshole, and he doesn't have anything like that, which is very liberating for a guy with his kind of status. You know, he's regarded as a legend to many people. You know, he deserves it, I think.
The day I flew from Uruguay was like 35. And when I came here it was like minus 15, it's like 45 difference. And I remember when I went out from the airport, it was like, the taxi was like 10 meters and I couldn't move. It's like I was paralyzed and I thought I could never make it. It's like impossible. think the biggest difference is that the band is in really good shape now, and everyone is like really focused in the music. Yeah, I think the strongest lineup right now that Opeth ever had.
This is the studio. It's called Junk Mail Studios. Very sparse, not much. But I have a keyboard, which is the same that Per uses. I don't know if it's good, if it's shit, but it has a volume knob and, you know, sounds a little bit like an electric piano or a... Yeah. I haven't been here since the recording, so it's a mess. Usually I want to have control over this place, but it's I'm a messy. It's weird. I'm control freak in many ways, but messy like a child. I try, you know, when I write the songs, I want them not to be run-of-the-mill kind of, you know, kind of chords. You know, I want them to be something else, I guess, you know. And I use a lot of disharmonic, you know, all the time. And this actual chord is the one I think you noticed. It turns up in many riffs, you know.
It's good. I like it. It's very evil sounding.
This is basically how we're sitting in the studio. When he did his solos, I just played him the part, and he listened to it a couple of times and played a solo. And for the rest of the guitars on the demos, I played, obviously, you know, doing the demos back home, I played everything on there. But in the studio, we tried to mix it up. I think it's more or less 50-50, I think, on the album. He's doing more like metal type of guitar solos than I am, because he's simply a better, you know, guitar, that kind of guitar player. You know, I'm not a technical guy. I'm not interested, and I don't want to be interested. I just want to get to the writing level as fast as possible and without any problems. If there is a problem with my technical device, I break them, I smash them. I don't have any
Patience.
No patience. I just I need it to work instantly, and if it fucks up, it's a good chance I might break it, regardless of what it costs. I'm sorry to say, it's not a good thing, but yeah. So this is where the magic happens.
I think it's an album that you should listen to from the beginning to the end. It's like a journey thing, and it demands a lot from the listener. But it's one of those records you won't get bored with or get tired with. I think you could listen to it 100 times. I mean, I still listen to it now and will continue with it, even though I've rehearsed the songs. I know the songs very good. So I'm very, very happy about this album.
Very impressive. That's a fun riff.
was easier for Fredrik to blend in to start with, especially since we've done tours with Arch Enemy where he used to play guitar as well. So both Axe and Fredrik are fantastic guys. So
I was like, yeah, I was overwhelmed. I mean, I was a bit. That was right after I got fired from Arch Enemy because Chris was coming back, and I mean, I felt a bit down at the time. Of course, didn't know how to handle my situation music-wise. Am I gonna try to form my own band? Am I gonna try to join another band? Or what's gonna happen? So when Michael called me, I was very, very glad about that.
Fredrik and I are very. We haven't been playing together for that long a time yet, but we're very tight together. It's a very tight unit between me and him as a rhythm players. Right. Yeah, sorry, it sounds like shit.
Yeah.
Fredrik, also a great guy, guitar hero.
He also answers his own questions. In that sense, he's saying, maybe we should do something like, maybe we should do the riffs like this, or no, or really, what do you think? Oh no, maybe not. You know, like he's answering his own questions. Quite funny. Very, very kind of picky with his own playing. You know, if we're talking music, he's looking at, if I'm showing him how to play a riff, he's looking at my right hand, like every kind of stroke of the strings need to be the exact same, which is a first, you know, we can notice, like with me and Peter, we can notice after a while that we're playing completely different things. You know?
Yeah, I took some guitar lessons from a teacher called Jürgen when I started out, but mainly I was self-taught, just by watching instructional videos and just learning from the records, playing along with the records. But then later on I went to like a music school for 1 year. A lot of fans I've seen on the band's forum, for instance, were afraid of that I would overplay on the record, doing all this high-tech solo blittering stuff. But I think when it comes to soloing and stuff like that, I think I'm happy with my part. I don't think I overplayed on it, even though I like to play a lot of guitar stuff. But I think this playing that I did suits the album, and I'm happy with it.
I think a proper cock rocker needs to be rich. He needs to have lots of women. He needs to have a Rolls Royce and a big mansion, and he needs to have sold millions of records, and he needs to have like pissed in the face of a groupie, if you know what I mean. I've never done anything like that. So I'm not a real cock rocker, but I love the music, the style, you know. That one is cool as well.
That's a fun riff.
But it's everything from, you know, try to cover as much ground as possible with the music. It's a lot of major chords on this album for some reason. I think they sound evil. It's, you know, when I hear that, I'm not thinking just regular, you know.
There's an evilness.
He put it in context, like. major chords, but it doesn't sound like a. It sounds more evil than. Probably
I think
named
it's
for.
more like an Arabic
Yeah,
sort of.
exactly. When I get up in the morning, like 8 o'clock or whenever I get up now these days, it's a bit different from the slacker days. But have a cup of coffee, breakfast, and then I sit down and try to see if I got something cool in my head. And 80% of the time, it's I come up with something worthless. So I have to wait for a few hours and just call someone, talk on the phone, or check my emails and that kind of stuff. But every now and then you're lucky and you come up with something that you can work on, and as soon as that happens, the song kind of builds from that first idea.
Mike, I think he's been like the best teacher in music for me over all the years I've been playing, I think. I mean, I've been learning from teachers and playing with a lot of musicians, but with Mike something else. I mean, I learn a lot. I don't know if he's like I can't say him as a teacher, but I get a lot of influence from him. Yeah.
Stubborn, mellow guy who likes farts.
Michael Opeth is a huge inspiration to play with, and very, very, very down-to-earth person, and a good band leader, I think, and a fair band leader, and good friend.
Very good songwriter. I think he's one of my favorite songwriters. So it's a very big honor to be playing with him. I compare him to like Richie Blackmore and those guys. I think he's up there.
First song on the album, which is just an acoustic guitar on. Pretty simple. I think I was didn't really know where to use it, but it came to good use actually. The only kind of secure spot for that type of song was first on the album, I think. And most metal bands, including ourselves, when you put out a new record, you're like, yeah, it's straight in your fist in your face with the first song, Sounds like a Zeppelin, mid-period Zeppelin riff in a way. And then it turns into a Nick Drake-ish kind of thing. Very simple. She's Martin Axe, our drummer's girlfriend. They've been together for 5 years or something like that. And she's a singer. I knew she could sing well, but I didn't really know just how good she was. Until I had like a crayfish party, I think it was, or maybe New Year's, I can't remember. I had a party at our house, and they brought a tape of like a project they have together, Martin and his girlfriend, Natalie is her name. And I heard this song and I was like, wow, she's got a beautiful voice. Very basic in many ways.
Yeah, well, it's just a pick and strings and chubby fingers. Fucked it up.
Nice.
I was happy with that Michael was confident in my playing, that he allowed me to finish stuff on my own, because we were well rehearsed, of course. That gave me more confidence as well, knowing that he believed in me, that I would do the right things on different parts, that it wasn't necessary for him to be standing over my shoulder, That kind of, he told me that it eased off the pressure from him a bit. I
try not to steal anything at all, but and when I do, I try to hide it so nobody can tell. But basically, I just okay. is Isaac of York. This is a new song. This is sound I used a lot. This flute sounds, but on the record it's real flutes. This as well. This is the oboe kind of, but this says English horn here actually. But we use that too. This is the fake mellotron
Even faster than Per.
He's trying to flatter me. You know, he probably wants a blowjob in the bus on the horse, saying flatterish things, like the little whore he is. Ta ett tag.
The only song I played with one of Peter's solos at this point is Deliverance. And I play that solo note by note because I think if you're a huge fan of the band, you want to have the solo that you're used to listen to.
My initial idea for the song, because I want it to be, as I said, like a mid-70s big ballad, and there's a Scorpion song on the In Trance album, I think it is, called Living and Dying. That was my idea. It doesn't sound anything like that song, but that's when I heard that. I was somewhere in Turkey, I think, listening to it on my iPod, like Living and Dying. And I was like, wow, that's I want to do a song like that, just a big, overblown, ballad. The end of this ballad song that we wrote has just a long going riff, and Freddie can play solo. The riff is simple, I just show it. It's just it's perfect perfect for soloing. So here we go.
It's just basically have to hit one note and then you're okay, I think.
Yeah, but it has to be the right note. That's not the easiest thing. That's one of my solos. You know, the other one is. Something like that, but it plays shitty a little.
I can try play mine one more time because I fucked it up again.
3, 4.
Second one is
Solo. The lighters to come out.
I look forward to tour with the new songs, of course. It's gonna be very different for me.
for me right now is just learning all these songs and rehearsing with the band basically.
It's definitely a little bit different than Ghost Reveries, but it's supposed to be that because it's not fun to do the same. There's very few bands that can make the same albums over and over again.
I'm old. I don't know. I start getting bored, whatever. But no reason. Just woke up someday and was like, I just want to change something, shave my hair. Why not?
I'm hoping it's going to continue the same interest that's shown for us in the past. That's going to be maintained with this new album. That we're still going to be able to have a good time, even though it's basically a new band.
I guess I need an acoustic. I can blame it on the sound.